Hey guys, Diving Ninja Zero Two back in the game room, the man room, the big kid room, whatever you want to call it. Man, it just seems like recently I've been pumping out these haul videos, but when you find good stuff, you gotta share it, right? Anyway, I went to Goodwill and they had a bunch of games, and I picked up some, I guess some things that I may have wanted, but I don't know necessarily the price on. I'm not a big Genesis collector, but I remember Streets of Rage being pretty fun. Got that complete box, actually some posters and stuff for $3. Um, Ended up with X-Men, obviously. I collect Marvel and stuff, so this was just cool to have with instructions unboxed for $3 as well. Um, then also at that Goodwill they had a bunch of complete box games, or just they had a bunch of box games. So I ended up picking up quite a few of these games with boxes. Win, Lose, or Draw has instructions and manual. I got MTV Remote Control. That one just had the manual, or it didn't have the manual. Fax Xanadu, no manual, but I needed both those boxes, and I guess now I have a double of carts. Family Feud, this one's harder to get. Ended up with complete box on this one, so that I'm happy about. Then also Karate Champ. All these were $3 again, but this one was cool. I needed the instructions, but I also noticed that this box is not, the box I have already is a hang tab box, which is one to hang on the shelf, which is the newer releases, but this one, it was not the hang tab box, so a box variant that I'm slowly keeping track of. And then I guess a couple weeks ago I had picked up a couple things, so I didn't really make a video on it, but I ended up with a Street Fighter 2 box and instructions only, but ended up finding the card only for $3, so now I have completed that. And I picked up a couple games that I thought maybe variants. I picked up a Gunsmoke with the, I guess kind of more the portrait picture, and I thought down here the code or the was not on my other copy, but turns out it was. So I guess I just got a duplicate Gunsmoke for $3. Dracula, I have a friend that's looking for that, so that's a pretty good one for $3. Then one of my buddies knew I was looking for variants, and he had found me pretty roughed up Donkey Kong 3 with the 3 screws and then the circle seal, but he managed to, just tell me I can have it for the time being as a placeholder, more or less kind of deal. So that's cool to have, and free. It's a pretty good deal. So all those at $3. I think it came out to like 10 items, so that's $30. But the major score at that Goodwill was, I guess I had a 50% off coupon, and I used it on the best item I could. I ended up finding a combo package deal. I'm not really, again, into Genesis or Sega stuff, but I would pick it up kind of if it's boxed like those other games. And since I had a 50% off coupon, I ended up grabbing this system. I guess it's the Genesis 2 in the box, and the price tag on it was $100, which made it 50. But not only did it just come with this system box, but you can tell there's cellophane on it. It came with a boxed Sega CD as well. So all that boxed for $50 with my coupon came out to a pretty good deal. I went to the local game store, and they also had both of them boxed. The boxes were a little nicer, but they were saying for a package combo deal with that it'd be $300. So probably higher than market price, but that's what they would charge. But still, for $50, not a bad deal. Good haul. Then after that, I met up with a buddy who I had made some trades with before, and we kind of figured out that, hey, he owed me like $20 or something, but wasn't a big deal, and pretty much had written it off. But when we met up, he had found like a stack of manuals that he had, and I went through my list and ended up checking off some really good ones here. We got Little Ninja Brothers, got Ninja Crusaders, we got World Games, Robin Hood Prince of Thieves, all these are for the NES, Sky Kid, Days of Thunder, Indiana Jones, the Tactile version, Got Championship Bowling. That's kind of cool how the up and down on the instructions. Tiger Healy. I had the box, I have the cart, but for some reason I didn't have the manual, so that completes that one. Dig Dug 2. There was no Dig Dug 1, but Circus Caper. These, and most of these are really harder to find. Jurassic Park, they're not, you know, your common manuals of Super Mario Duck Hunt that everyone had. Metroid, a black box game. Glad to have that one. Castlevania. I have the box, but I don't know why I didn't have the manual. Shooting Range, which is another hard one to find. Double Dragon 2. Again, this one completes my box and cart, so now I have the manual. I ended up picking this one up, Super Mario Brothers 2. For it looks like it's a variant because it has a little red R at the top, and the code is a -3. So I'm gonna check that against the ones I have. And then these next ones are pretty darn cool. Oh, I ended up finding a Tetris manual within one of these box games from the Goodwill. They, I guess, when they were checking them out and putting them together, they just threw that one in there because they probably didn't have a Tetris. But these next couple items are, I guess, really good items from my buddy that he just ended up giving me all of these manuals for free. But there's in Nintendo Age, there's a section of a thread that it said like to be complete thread, and it's kind of games that came with manual or maps and additional things that they would say, okay, well, to consider it complete, you have to have these other pieces to the box to make it complete. So like in Zelda, they had some maps, and I didn't even know this is what it looks like, but I guess this has a little map of like the first 2 labyrinth levels or whatever, and it opens up and it's got kind of all this detail in it. But I just went on eBay just to look to see if they sold these, and some guy just sold one of these by itself for like 14 bucks. So that was pretty cool just to get all this stuff for free. So I gotta check that off on the collection list. Zelda's now complete. I also did not have the defensive and offensive plays to just the NFL football for Nintendo, which is pretty cool. So that checks that part off of the to be complete thread. And then probably the favorite one is for Dragon Warrior. I have like the regular manual, and I have the I guess the tip card, but I did not have the Dragon Warrior map and the Dragon Warrior Explorer's Handbook. So that completes that for me too. So that's another awesome find. Then also went to so I ended up paying like just $86 and got all of that so far. But I also had 2 common games that I had picked up that I was gonna trade at like a local store that, you know, sells them for more, just get some credit. And I bumped into a guy who actually needed a Zelda, and he's like, "Hey, are you gonna trade that?" Or he wanted it from me, and I was like, "Well, I was gonna trade it in." He's like, "Well, I'll pay you $30 for it right now." And I was like, oh, "Okay." So I ended up with $30 cash from that, and ended up still having my Mario Kart for Nintendo 64 that I was going to trade in too. So I ended up trading that in, and got this super sweet looking Tombs and Treasure box. It's like really mint condition. He wanted 25 for it, which was probably overpaid, but I did get 15 credit, and then I had gotten $30 from that other guy, so I just took $10 and gave it to him anyway. But this came with the instruction manual, and this also has a map in part of the to be completed thread. So I ended up getting that, and I actually have the map, so I'll be able to trade that for things in the future. But then after that, we ended up going to another local game store, and I ended up finding a section where they had Super Nintendo boxes, and I don't know if you can tell, like my Super Nintendo's right here, and it's a pretty weak collection, obviously, compared to the Nintendo one. But I ended up telling myself, you know, I'm not going to branch out really into Super Nintendo or any of the other systems really much unless, you know, I can find them cheap and complete in the box. And so anyway, the store we went to, I guess they separate some of the boxes and manuals from the games themselves, and then they had kind of like a stash of them on the side. And my buddy was a bigger Super Nintendo collector, so he ended up grabbing a bunch of these boxes just to fill the spots in his collection. And he went up to the front and he's like, "How much are these boxes?" and manuals in here, and he's like, oh, when they're loose like that, they're just $1. So even though I don't really have like a ton of Super Nintendo cards, when he said $1, I went back and like grabbed like 17 of them. Because they were, it looked like they were out of someone's collection, or either they were like part of a store inventory, just the box on the shelf in the back or something. Um, but yeah, they were in fairly good condition, and so picked up 17 of them, even though like I only have one of the games loose, so now I have just a bunch of boxes and manuals to this. But ended up with, and I don't even know all the Super Nintendo titles, but this is Out of This World. Bill Lambert's Combat Basketball, I believe. Lambert's. Anyway, I have the card of that, so that completes that for me. Dirt Trax FX. Ended up with a Jeopardy. Again, all these kind of have like, and it came with like all the inserts, not just like the manual.